Hi, my name is Jordan Story, and this past fall 2025, I took the market research class at the Kroll School of Business. My professor, Les Harmon, gave us the task of creating a marketing research report with a small business of our choosing. My partner, Jay Meadows, and I ended up choosing Sugar and Spice Cafe. It's sort of a fusion between your typical grab and go coffee spot and a full local bakery. We met with the two owners, Kathy and Laura, and began discussing kind of what their market goals, their research goals were, and kind of really what they wanted to learn from the whole experience. Because our goal when working with our client was to understand what they didn't know and help them fill those gaps in their knowledge. Really, the heavy hitter that Kathy and Laura were the most interested in finding out was how can they get more college students to come to Sugar and Spice. That was an area where they felt like they were hurting and they were missing out on a large customer base, as well as how could the hours that they're open be affecting their business. And so, in order to tackle those two research objectives in particular, we really wanted to make sure we had plenty of secondary research, both researching other coffee shops around the area and what they were doing well and what they weren't, as well as looking over multiple articles and websites to try to find industry ideas. When trying to understand college students in particular, we felt a really great way to understand what Sugar and Spice could be doing better for college students to attract more of them was by running a focus group with college students. So Jay and I actually were able to put together a focus group of about 12 people, all of whom we knew and who all had very different opinions on the kind of coffee that they liked and why they went to different coffee shops. And we were able to get some really good ideas and insights into what makes a college student choose any one particular coffee shop over another. And that definitely really helped us for a baseline on our research to know what kind of questions to ask on our survey, as well as just some kind of trends and ideas to look for once we actually started piecing together our data. In addition to the focus group that we did with the 12 college students, we also decided it would be good to be in the store and conduct 18 different customer interviews with customers of Sugar and Spice. To do that, Jay and I kind of divided and conquered. We both went to the shop at same times, at different times, and just interviewed and asked customers questions about their experiences and preferences, what they liked and didn't like about their experience to kind of give us some ideas of trends that we can be looking for when we actually start diving into the data. And it also gave us good insight into questions that we can ask on the survey that won't end with purposeless data that we can't use for any sort of recommendations later on. This part of the research process was actually very interesting to be doing in a team. Both Jay and I had to learn pretty quickly how to adapt to each other's schedules and find out times that we could both make it or times that maybe one person would go and then the next day or the day after the other person would go. And kind of working together in that schedule was difficult at first since we were both pretty busy, but it was definitely rewarding to kind of find out how we can work together in a way to move the project forward separately, but on kind of the same front, moving forward with the same ideas. We created our survey on Survey Pro. It ended up being 68 questions long. It was one page, double sided. The goal that was set for us for the project was to get 125 surveys filled out over about a 2.5 week span. And we noticed pretty quickly that the number of surveys that we were hoping we would get filled out over the first week, we were actually quite a bit short of. So we realized we had to pivot in our plan on how we were going to get our surveys filled out. And instead of relying on the employees and owners of Sugar and Spice to kind of push the surveys for us, we ended up working out a way for either me or Jay to be there at least every single day of the week, one of us, to kind of encourage and hand out surveys with customers that were coming in and ordering coffee and a donut. And one way that we were able to incentivize customers when they came in to fill out the survey was by offering a free churro donut. We were able to get our clients to approve that. So we really hoped that that would not only incentivize more surveys to get filled out so we would reach our 125 survey goal, but it would also encourage the responses from the people that were filling out the survey to be more meaningful for our data and kind of a win-win situation so that the customers felt like they were receiving something for what they were giving us and it was mutually beneficial for everyone. while Jay and I were getting those surveys filled out each day of the week to try to make sure we reached the 125 survey goal, we noticed that most of the customers that were coming in were not college students, which was a slight issue since our clients, Kathy and Laura, really wanted to know how college students felt about certain parts of their business. So one of the biggest pivots that we had to make in the project was really switching our focus from getting everybody to fill out the survey to how can we really attract more college students' responses. So we made sure that any college student that came to the door, we handed them a survey, we told them there was an incentive, and we were just really pushing, making sure that any college students that were there did fill out the survey. Another way that we worked on getting more college student responses and just more responses in general was we were able to make a little poster that we put up next to the register that just kind of made it really clear with a large photo of a donut and large text, free churro donut if you fill out the survey. And that was just kind of a way to help both the baristas and the owners and Jay and myself to get more surveys filled out because it's a pretty hard sign to miss. It's right next to the register. And so anybody who is interested in a free pastry would see that sign and immediately ask about the survey and ask for the survey. And after making that sign and implementing those changes on me and Jay coming in more often, we were able to over double the amount of surveys that we got filled out over the course of that week. So we ended up getting about 85 surveys filled out. And when we presented our final marketing report on all the data that we went over through all 85 survey results to Kathy and Laura, they were actually really excited to see it. And they were super excited to read through our recommendation sections for college students. And also what they were curious about was how many of their customers were professionals and whether or not they were interested in food and drink combos specifically. And they ended up being very interested in food and drink combos, as shown in the survey results. And so Kathy and Laura were very excited to kind of read through those recommendations and kind of see some of their ideas were good ideas that the customers really wanted to see. At the end of the whole project, I really just have to thank Kathy and Laura for the time and effort that they put in and their eagerness to allow Jay and I to come in and work on our project with their business and their customers. And they really were able to help quite a bit on ideas for us, and it was a pleasure to help them. Contact me if you have any questions, and thanks so much for watching.